Hello and welcome to Yoga by Nature podcast. It's been a long time since I posted anything, and I've been really feeling that lately. And I was actually wondering, should I keep on doing podcasts or should I stop? But I just can't stop. And I recorded a couple of classes recently that I thought you would really like, especially if you are in a body that takes a little bit more time to get going in the cold weather and appreciates a more gentle approach to practice. This is part of a two-part series, so they're live classes that I recorded last week and this week in the Gentle Yoga Thursday morning class. And that one takes place sort of live, in person, and also people join online, and I record it for anyone who wants to do the recording. But yeah, this is a special gift to anyone who wants it, really, because this time of year, bodies need a little bit more TLC, so I wanted to give that. So this one, we start with some breath work. So we start sitting, and then we get we quite quickly get into the standing sequence, because that was a particularly cold day. And I felt like we really needed to move before we needed to be still. So we come up to standing and we do some really gentle sort of joint freeing stuff. So we start really slowly, moving all the joints, and then we get into the standing sequence, and then we do a longer session down on the mat at the end. So that's a really nice one. And I do have some more things coming up online. Those of you who only know me from online and don't tend to attend in person because you're too far away, I am offering a special solstice practice on the 22nd of December, and that's called the Fabric of Meditation. And it's a special sort of 2-hour evening practice on the 22nd, which is a Friday, and it's especially for the solstice. And it's an opportunity to just go really deep inside with yoga nidra. We do some gentle physical practice, and it's intended to be a real sort of journey into the inner world, to honor the solstice and that kind of deep resting of the earth at that time of year. So you can find out all about that at yogabynature.org. And if you have any questions or comments about this practice, then I always love hearing from you. It's info@yogabynature.org, and my name is Morven. And so equipment that you need for this class, you might need a chair or be near a wall for the balances. We use a resistance band for this particular class, because it's generally for people in midlife and older. So we work on muscle mass and bone strength and joint health quite a bit. So if you have a power loop, then great. If you don't have a stretchy power loop, but you have a TheraBand or a resistance band, you can just tie that into a loop and use that. Or you can just use like a stretchy pair of tights or leggings and use that instead. We also use the massage balls. So if you have one of those, great. Just a little sort of tennis ball sized massage ball, because we tend to roll out the feet. You can always skip that bit if you don't have anything comparable. But you could be using a tennis ball, a cricket ball, a sort of hard citrus, a dowel, anything that you can roll on your feet. I've used a drinking glass before. So yeah, you can be creative with that. So I really hope you enjoy this practice, and this goes out from me to you with lots of love, and I hope it reaches you in a body that feels good today, and is intended for a little TLC just to help you move a bit more easily in the world. Enjoy. So let's take a comfortable seat, and you might be kneeling or you might be sitting. You just find what feels good for you. Coming to sit tall, so you've got plenty of room for your lungs to breathe.
letting the shoulders soften down away from the ears, the collarbones to broaden. And we're going to start with an Ujjayi breath today. And Ujjayi breath is this breath we do in yoga. It's usually the first pranayama that you learn in yoga, where you slightly close your throat so that there's a little bit of friction in the breath that makes the breath audible. So it sounds like a sort of whispering or hissing sound, but the sound's coming from here. Okay. Ujjayi breath is a heating breath. It's said to start to warm up the system, so that's why we're doing it today. But it's also a very good preparation for meditation, because it lengthens the breath, which calms the nervous system, and it also provides a sort of audible anchor for your attention. So when you're listening to something, it's a bit easier to stay present. So let's begin. And Ujjayi breath, we do it with the mouth closed, but it's this kind of as if you're steaming up a pair of sunglasses. So making the throat quite tight. What you do with your lips closed, you can close your eyes if you like, and just try to have the face quite relaxed. And then just noticing if your jaw is starting to tighten with the effort, and just see if you can sort of relax the jaw, get a bit jowly. And so it's this sort of relaxation of the throat that causes the throat to slightly close, like the beginnings of a snore. So breathing long and full. And just watching how the breath is inevitably lengthened. And the longer breath, it tends to have a soothing effect on the nervous system. But if you're challenging yourself too much, you'll probably find that your stress response kicks in and you'll start to feel a bit agitated. So that's the time to stop. And that just happens if you're overdoing it. Let's just take about 3 more breaths with Ujjayi breath. Okay, and then just letting your breath release back into its natural flow. And this is another breathing practice. It's also a kriya, which is known as a cleansing practice. And this helps to cleanse the lungs, helps to bring more circulation to the shoulder and the neck area. So we start with the fists clenched just in front of the shoulders, and then with the inhale, the arms sort of shoot up towards the sky, and then with the exhale, they quite strongly draw down again, like you're pulling down on a heavy bar. Okay, so like this. Just join in when you're ready. And if you start to feel dizzy, just stop. So it's more important to take a full breath than it is to take a fast breath. About 10 more. 3, 2, 1. And then with the inhale, reach the arms up. And then if you are comfortable to hold the inhale, just hold an inhale just very lightly for a few moments. And then release all the way back down. It's a nice morning practice to do if you're low on energy. This helps to get the energy moving. All right, so we're going to come and stand now, and we're going to do sort of a joint releasing sequence. Now, it will involve a little bit of balancing. So if you usually hold onto a chair for balancing, then go and grab your chair. Okay. Did you go to get a chair? Ah, doorstop. Okay. I just saw you go over there and then come back again. I was like, oh, there's plenty of chairs there. Okay, so we're going to start standing on whichever foot, doesn't matter. And we're just going to circle the ankle around. So this is where you might want to hold on to the chair if you're feeling wobbly. So just do a few circles around one way and then around the other way. And then start to circle the knee. There's not very much rotation in the knee, but there is a little bit. So just starting to circle the knee around. A few times one way and a few times the other way. And then we're going to do the whole hip. So a little bend in the knee, just making these big circles around, or little circles around. If your back feels twingy, then just keep it little. And then a few circles around the other way. Okay, and then let's try the other side. So standing on the other foot, a few circles one way and then the other way. And then circling at the knee. And then around the other way. And then circling at the hip. Good. It's harder work than it seems, this, isn't it? Okay, and then just taking a rest. And the standing the feet about a hip distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider, and keeping a little bend in the knees. I'm going to start to circle the whole of the pelvis around. I'm doing these big juicy circles around. Lots of breath as you move. And then a few circles around the other way. Okay. Lovely. And then coming all the way up to standing. So working our way up the body. Keep the knees quite soft. And then just start to rotate the spine from side to side. So let the legs be quite loose and free. And also just let the rib cage be quite free. Most of the twisting happens here at this junction between the lower back and the rib cage. There's not much twistiness in the lower back at all. Most of it happens in the upper back. Letting the arms swing, so the arms are quite loose, the shoulders are loose. If you get dizzy, you can, or neck pain, just look forward so you're not challenging your neck. All right, and then just reducing that movement and coming back to a standstill. And let's just start to move the shoulders. So a few circles back. Let's do about 3 or 4 circles back. And then 3 or 4 circles forwards. And at any time you want to come back to your Ujjayi breath, it can help you to sort of recenter. Just coming back to that. So fingertips to the shoulders And then just really getting the whole arm moving. A few circles around one way, and then a few circles around the other way. And this is a really nice sort of low impact warm-up you can do every morning if you wanted to, just to get the whole body moving. And just giving the shoulders a really good shake. Let the whole body go a bit wobbly. Brilliant. And then don't forget the wrists. So a few circles around one way and then the other way. Great. Yeah, and then just flicking water off the hands. Lovely. And again, just a little shake, and then just letting the head roll. So we just let the head sort of loll forward, and then it's just going to go around over to one side. We won't go all the way back. We'll just go from side to side. So the ear comes towards the shoulder and then goes back again. Again, if you get dizzy, if you keep looking forward and just minimize the movement, then that should help. Okay, and then bringing the head back to center. Fingertips just lightly tapping, like raindrops, just tapping on the scalp, just covering the whole of the scalp. Don't miss anywhere. Great. And then releasing the hands, doing some big chewing faces with the mouth. Okay, a big yawn. Slide the jaw from side to side. Ah. And release. Let's not forget the ears. So if you just hold on to the front bit of your ear and then just pinch around the edge of the ear. And there's a theory, I don't know if this is just an Indian sort of Ayurvedic theory, but you can map the whole body onto the ear apparently. Like reflexology, you know, you can map the whole body onto the foot. Apparently that's true for the ear as well. So this is a lazy person's workout. No, I just do this. Maybe get up a bit later and do this. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, how are we feeling? A bit warmer? Yeah, my ears are really warm now, actually. All right, so now just have a little stamp. It's a bit of impact through the skeletal system. Brilliant. And then just coming to take a stand in Tadasana, we'll just move through some quite gentle half sun salutations. And you can, if you're not feeling so mobile yet this morning, you might like to have the chair as a support. So we'll just see how you go. And so if we stand feet about a hip distance apart, but just what feels comfortable to you. So your legs feel strong. Your legs are the pillars that support the torso. So make them strong and steady. And then for the half sun salutation, we'll just float the arms up towards the sky. And then with the exhale, we're going to fold forward. So take a bend in the knees so your back can stay strong, and we'll fold forward. You can either rest your hands onto the chair, that might be enough, or you might find that you can easily come all the way down. And then we're going to look forward halfway, lifting the chest forwards. And then we'll exhale, fold all the way back in. And then with the inhale, rising all the way up to standing. So either pressing onto the chair to support your back, or you can take the arms out and up and reach high. With the exhale, the hands come to rest just in front of the heart. And then inhaling. Optional breathing pattern here. So you choose. You can exhale to fold forward or just do your own thing. And then inhaling, lifting halfway. until your back muscles all engage, and exhaling, folding in. And then with the inhale, rising, leading with the chest and sweeping the arms out and up, reaching up to the sky. Exhaling, the hands come through the midline and rest at the heart. Let's do 2 more, but just go at your own pace. You might want to speed it up, slow it down. Find a rhythm with your own breath. The hands and the awareness draw into the midline of the body. And then just ending with the hands resting just in front of the heart. And just notice what you can feel. What's your perception of your own energy now? The space in the body. And then releasing the arms. Let's take the ball. And we're going to do a little rolling out of the feet. Again, you might want to have your chair handy so you can hold on to the back of the chair. Oh no, I tell you what, can you just chuck that to me? I'll throw it away. I think it got split last night. Yeah, those tennis balls really need to be thrown away. They're no good. The cork, did you get a cork one? Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Just sensitizing the feet. Okay. Once I get into this, I just don't want to stop. I have to. All right, let's go to the other side. Just this sort of dual process, really, of mapping the foot and also releasing any sort of stagnation. There's usually a lot of stagnation in the feet at this time of year because we've got our feet sort of strapped into big clumpy shoes, so they don't get to articulate very much. Okay. Great. And then just put the ball away somewhere you're not going to trip over it. And you probably will, if your chair is on your mat, you'll just want to move it to one side and just come and stand in the middle of the mat. And we're just simply going to step 1 foot forward and then the same foot will step back. If it feels easy, step a little bit further. And if that still feels too easy, then try doing it with your eyes closed. Okay, great. And then we'll go to the other side. So again, if it's too easy, you can always make it harder. Okay, great. And then just coming to stand in Tadasana again. So finding that really steady stance, broad, steady feet. Lift the toes. So you're really engaging the arches of the feet. So there's this kind of spring that comes from the sole of the foot and travels all the way up to the pelvis. And then just rest the feet lightly back down onto the ground. Raise the left arm up and we'll keep the right arm on the outer thigh. And then arch over towards the right. So your right hand slides down towards your ankle. And now press your hand into your thigh and your thigh into your hand. And stand a little bit taller. Yes, so really finding that space along the spine. strength through the abdomen. And then let's come all the way back, floating the left arm back down to the side. And we'll do the other side. So making the feet heavy, especially the outer edges of the feet heavy, and then swaying over towards the left. The left hand slides down towards the ankle. And from tailbone to crown, we're making more space. So the tail moves down and the crown lifts up. And have a sense of each vertebra sort of lifting up away from its neighbor, making space. This is the most important thing to do if you do have osteoporosis in your spine, is work on this axial extension, this length along the spine. And then coming all the way back up and floating the right arm back down to the side. Oh, great. Now we're going to do balance. So standing steady again on your feet. Do grab your chair if you need to. I'm going to do a good old-fashioned tree pose. So let's try this. We've done this together before. So kind of clawing the mat with your feet. And it's this action that you would do if you were trying to pick up the mat with your feet. So your feet become quite sort of grabby and clawing. And we've got this quite a strong contact with the ground through this sort of horseshoe shape from the ball of the foot, ball of the big toe, all the way back around the heel and to the base of the pinky toe. Does that make sense? Sort of think of a horseshoe from big toe to little toe. All right, and then standing that left foot really firmly on the ground. You can choose if you want to claw or just relax the toes, whichever works best for you for balancing. And then we'll bring the sole of the foot to rest on the inner ankle. You can have the toes resting on the ground, or you can stand your foot on top of the other foot. If you want to do more, you can take the sole of the foot to the inner calf or thigh, and then bring the hands together. Lightly press the hands together until you feel your pectoral muscles engage. And if you like, if you're feeling confident here, you can reach the arms up. You don't need to push the hands together now, but if you keep them sort of drawing in, that's going to help you to balance, because it's going to help you to connect to your midline. Beautiful. And then release down. That felt like quite a long hold there, actually. So we'll try the other side. Again, setting the feet either in the sort of claw shapes, like, eagle foot, or relaxed toes. And then just find whichever presentation of the pose works for you today. And this is it's a hip opener as well as being a balance. So that knee, that left knee, is starting to move back towards the wall behind you. So we're opening across this left front of the hip. Don't forget to breathe. And then releasing down. Okay, that's lovely. Sorry, I never can remember my sequence for this class. So yes, we're going to go into a goddess pose. Let's take the feet wide, actually, and then you don't get cold feet, stepping wide. And so, oh, can we turn that way? Okay, and then all I have to do is this. So let's take the feet about 1 meter or so wide and turn the toes out. Yeah, so you're about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock with the feet. And bring the hands to the heart. Take an inhale, reach the arms up, really breathe into the collarbones, all the way down into the diaphragm. And then exhale, bend the knees, draw the hands through the midline to rest just in front of the heart. And then inhaling to reach up, the feet press down as the arms reach up. And then exhaling to draw down. And all the while the knees are moving out wide. Let's do that 2 more times. You might find that you can go a little deeper each time. Just a suggestion. Let's hold it. Now you really need these big abducting muscles of your outer thighs switched on here. Oh, creaky knees. Yeah, me too today. Seem to be worse in the cold. And then bring your hands to rest somewhere on your legs. Fold forward a little bit. And then we're going to drop the left shoulder in towards the middle and turn to look over the right. Everyone looks good doing this pose. And then come back to center. And then we'll go to the other side. Yeah. What is it like Maori? That's kind of Maori, like war dance. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay, let's go to the other side. And then rising all the way up. Lovely. And then we'll turn the left toes in, we'll turn the right toes out. We can heel toe the feet a little bit wider, if that feels okay for your body. And then bend the right knee. So the knee will be just over the foot. And then just check the outer edge of that left foot stays on the ground. And it's only a foot, so it doesn't seem like much if it comes up, but that means that the whole leg will disengage if it comes up. So we want to try and keep it down, and then open the arms wide, and we'll keep moving. So if we straighten the leg and take the leg straight, and then with the exhale, bend the knee. So all the action's happening in the right leg, but we want the left leg to stay really stable and strong. So sort of hugging your left femur bone with all the muscles of that left thigh. Beautiful. And then if we bend into the right knee, then we're going to turn the right palm up, bring the left hand to the back of the thigh, and then curl back, reverse warrior. The gaze can lift. And then if it feels okay in your neck, you can look down towards your left heel, outer left heel. Okay. And then let's release. So we'll give that side a break and bring the right leg to straight. And then we'll swap sides. So the right toes will turn in, left toes will turn out. Opening the arms out wide. Make sure your outer right foot is on the ground. And we're just going to flow a little bit. So we're bending the knee, but mostly we're interested in dropping the hip. So that left sitting bone drops down heavy towards the ground with the right leg as your foundation. Your right leg's really strong, plugged in. We'll keep going. And then bending the knee, let's hold it there. Turn the left palm up, bring the right hand to the back of the thigh, and then curl back, really opening up this whole left side of the rib cage and the side body to more breath. And then if you like, you can turn the head, so you're looking towards your outer right heel. And then coming all the way back up. And then we'll bring that left leg back to straight and then release the arms. All right, wonderful. So we're going to go back to side one. Right toes turn in, out. Left toes turn in. And we're going to come down. We're still be facing the long side of the mat. And then bend that right knee. Actually, yeah, what we'll do is we'll open the arms first and then we'll lean. So we're going to reach right over towards the right. So that right side of the waist gets really long. And then bring the forearm to the thigh. Take the left arm up towards the sky. If your shoulder feels okay with this, take the arm alongside the ear. If you find that your upper back starts rounding in the effort of getting the arm over the ear, then go back to arm up so that your shoulders can stay open. We're going to hold this for 3 more breaths. So it's a long hold. Strong legs. And then let's come all the way up. Bringing that right leg back to straight. And then release. So we'll turn the right toes in, left toes turn out. So nice wide stance. And then opening the arms wide. We'll drop into that left knee. So the left hip drops and then reach So we're really lengthening up out of that left side waist, and keep that length as you bring the forearm to the thigh, the right arm reaches up and maybe over if you like, if it feels good in your shoulder. So there's no point sort of striving for a certain form if that form doesn't suit your body. So find what suits your body. So the left hip scooping under. Find strength in both of the legs to hold you here. Steady just for 3 more breaths. And then coming all the way up. And we'll bring that left leg back to straight. And release down. All right, lovely. Lay this upside down. Oh yes, we're coming all the way down to the ground now. So we're going to come down to lie on the belly. And if you like here, you can put a blanket underneath you. So you could put a blanket over the whole mat if you preferred. If it's more comfortable for you lying on your belly to have the hips elevated a little bit, then you can have your folded blanket under your hips. Let's have a nice lie down. And just taking a few breaths here now in your abdominal breath. Stopping is just as valuable as moving. Sometimes we forget that. So just taking some time to stop. Just focusing on your breath. And then from here, we're going to move up to Sphinx, where we're propped up on the forearms. If your pelvis feels a bit kind of bony on the ground, just put a blanket under your hips. And this movement is for to stimulate the vagus nerve. So it's a great back bend, but it's mostly for calming the nervous system. So we're going to turn the rib cage. So turn the rib cage, it doesn't matter which way, and then look over your shoulder. And then you're going to look up out of the corner of your eye towards the ceiling. And we're going to hold it here for about 30 seconds or about 5 breaths. Okay. Less is more. You don't have to do a big movement. And just keep it nice and gentle. Okay, and then we're going to go the other way. So just very gently moving back through center, turning the rib cage the other way. So the spine starts to sort of curve around towards the other side. And then looking over that shoulder and looking up through the corner of your eye, up towards the ceiling. Hold that. It can be gentle. And just be here for a few more breaths. So the vagal toning exercises are good for calming anxiety if your nervous system is in a state of sort of arousal. Great. And then let's come back to center. All right, lovely. And then let's come back to head resting on the hands. And you might be resting your cheek, you might be resting your forehead, doesn't matter. We're going to bend the knees so the feet are pointing up towards the ceiling. And then just let the feet sway from side to side so your pelvis starts to rock from side to side. And this one is supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel like a release. So you find the movement that feels like a release for your body. And then coming back to center, and we'll gently rest the feet back down. Bring the hands to rest under your shoulders, and we'll press all the way back into child's pose. So just taking your version of child's pose, you might have the hips raised, you might be sitting on a bolster or a blanket under your knees, or if you can easily bring your hips all the way back onto your heels, then do that. And if your forehead is sort of floating above the ground, take a prop to support your head. You might like your bolster, or you might have a block there you can rest your forehead on. And just make sure you've got a little bit of pressure on that space just between the eyebrows, a little pressure point just between the eyebrows. Another little gateway to the rest and digest aspect of the nervous system. Take a full inhale. And a long, smooth exhale. And come all the way to the end of your exhale. See if you can empty your breath without it feeling stressful. And when you reach the very end of your breath, just let the inhale come. We'll do that one more time. So full inhale and a long exhale. And then just returning your breath to its normal pattern. And let's press all the way back up to all fours. And we're going to use the band for this next one. So we're going to do a little upper body work with the band. So have your power loop ready. Would anybody like me to bring them one? Nope, everyone got one. So we're going to go to all fours. I think we've all done this one together before. So here, if that's comfortable, and you're going to just step your right hand forward, right hand back to its starting point. And then it goes out to the side, back to starting point, back towards you, and then to the starting point. Okay, so we're just visiting neutral in between all these movements. So we're going to go forward, reset, side, reset, and then back, and then reset. All right, so let's go through. We'll go through about 4 times. It's going to get steadily harder as you go through. So just go in your own time through this sequence. And your left hand is going to be stabilizing. You find the whole left side of the body will be stabilizing, so it will be doing some work too. And if it starts to feel like too much, then just do less. One more. Okay, let's take a rest back in child's pose. And then let's do the other side. So back to all fours. And then it's exactly the same pattern on the other side. So just starting whenever you're ready to do. We'll go through about 6 times. And just looking after your joints, making sure that right elbow has a little micro bend in it, avoiding the hyperextension through the joints. And stop if you feel any pain at all. Let's go through once more. Okay, well done. And then we're going to wriggle out of the belt. We're going to stay on all fours though, but we're going to do something a little bit nicer. So we'll take the right arm out to the side, up towards the sky, take an inhale, and then exhale. Thread your right arm underneath your left, and we're going to twist towards the left, so the side of the head comes towards the ground. And then with the inhale, we'll open up again. So we're going to flow about 3 times, and then we'll hold it. So with the exhale, the arm threads underneath. And then one last one. And now we'll hold it here. And if your head is not on the ground, then just bring the ground to you by taking a cushion or a block or something, so you can support the side of your head without your neck feeling distorted. I'm just checking in that the back of the neck stays long. Have the chin a little bit tucking in towards the chest. And if you wanted to make this stronger, if you want more sensation, you can press down with your left hand. So if you bring your left hand sort of next to you, so you can use it as a lever, you can press it into the ground and turn towards the back of your head. So you're looking up towards the ceiling. Okay there, Rita? Okay, and let's come all the way back up. And we'll go to the other side. So this time the left arm will reach out to the left. We'll inhale and then exhale to thread through. So just flowing at the rhythm of your own breath. We'll do that about 3 times. And then we'll hold it. We'll be here for about 8 breaths, so giving it some time. It's really valuable to move and flow, and it's just as valuable to give your body some time to release. If you do want more, you can press down with your right hand and turn towards the back of the head, and just let that left arm relax. So you have the left arm resting on the ground. The left shoulder blade is sort of scooting forward, but it can just relax down. So you're not tensing the shoulder. And then that right shoulder is kind of tucking back, like your armpits trying to kind of plug back into your heart. And then let's unwind. So if you press down with the right hand and then unwind. And from here, we are coming to lie on the back. So if you swing the legs out in front and scoot forward until you're more or less in the middle of the mat. And have a belt or a band would be okay, but a belt's a bit better. If you want to put your socks on now, a bit chilly, put your socks on so you don't get too cold. And then, yeah, we're not going to be doing anything very active after this. So if you come and lie on your back, and then have your left knee bent and bring your right knee into your chest. I'm just going to place the belt, so you're going to catch your right foot in the belt. And then extend your right leg. And it doesn't matter if the leg is straight or if it's a little bit bent. Lovely. Let's just point and flex the foot a few times. So this is a nice practice for flossing the sciatic nerve. Anyone who's prone to sciatica, listen up. And it's also good for just hydrating and releasing all the connective tissues along the back of the leg. This is good pumping action to get the fluids flowing around the body. And then we'll bring the leg towards you if it wants to go. So there's no forcing. And just ask your body the question and then see if it responds. And then we're going to take both sides of the belt in the left hand, reach the right arm to the side, and just see if that right leg wants to kind of drop over to the left. Your hip stays on the ground, so it's there is a twist that looks a little bit like this, but we're not doing that right now. What you'll probably feel here is a strong sensation around the outer hip, maybe along the outer thigh, into the hamstrings. And then let's come back. We'll take the belt in the right hand, and then with great care, just start to guide that right leg down to the right. Just keeping the left side of the pelvis, the left side of the waist on the ground. Remember, it's a cold day. Winter body is very different from summer body, so you might not be going as far as you did in July. And then let's bring the leg all the way back up. And then we'll place the right foot back down. Just take a little pause. Now we've moved all that blood and water through the leg. Just notice what you can feel. And we'll go to side two. So bringing the left knee in, place the belt across the sole of the foot, just in front of the heel. And we'll do a little point and flex. You might be able to actually feel, if you take the focus away from the foot, you might be able to feel that sort of pumping of fluid all along the back of the leg. Almost certainly you'll be able to feel the calf muscles pumping. Okay, great. And then just see if that leg wants to draw in a little bit closer to the body. With care, with kindness. And we'll take the belts in the right hand, guide the left leg over towards the right. Just finding that first resistance. And then we'll bring the leg back to center, take hold of the belts in the left hand. And we'll take the left leg towards the left. Now be really just very respectful of your body here. It's a big stretch and it's easy to overstretch here. Let's take the leg back to center. And then release the left leg back down to the ground. Just take a pause. Notice what you can feel. Okay. And then we'll bend both of the knees, stand the feet on the floor, and have the feet about hip distance apart. Now just check in that you're getting enough purchase. If you've got socks on and you're on a blanket, you might find that your feet slip. So you might need to just hitch the blanket up a little bit till your feet are on the mats. Because we're going into bridge pose. So have the feet hip distance apart. They can be a little wider, but don't have them any narrower. Have the heels nice and wide. So you could be a little bit pigeon-toed here. And then start to sink the feet down into the ground. So your legs are a lever that's going to lift your pelvis up. So we're not pushing the hips in the air, but we're pushing the feet into the ground. And so the hips start to rise. The tailbone reaches forward, the knees reach forward. And then the chest, the front of the chest starts to fall open. So the fronts of the shoulders fall away from each other. If you turn the palms up and just let the arms go a little bit wider as you come up towards your back bend. And then we'll come down, just rolling the spine, one vertebra at a time. Just see if you can touch the ground with each individual vertebra as you descend. That's a little bit of pelvic floor work right here. And then just resting the back of the pelvis onto the ground. And let's do some focused work on pelvic floor strength. So this instruction, hopefully it will make sense to you. It might not make sense to you. But if you have a vagina and you're watching this, this is for people doing this on playback, you're going to imagine you're picking up a tissue with your vagina. And so this is this sort of hugging in and lifting up of the walls of the vagina. If you don't have a vagina, just lift the perineum. And then we're going to lift one foot. So the foot comes up level with the knee. I'm going to hold that tissue. Place the foot back down. And then change legs. So we've got this sense of sort of narrowing and also lifting through the pelvic floor area. And the engagement, let's keep going left to right, sort of marching action. And the pelvic floor engages from back to front. So you're lifting up that tissue and kind of zipping up from the tailbone all the way forward to the pubic bone. And if it starts hurting, just stop. We want to have the lower back very near the ground. So you could slide a greetings card underneath, but nothing wider. Okay, and then we'll finish when we get to the left leg or the opposite leg from the one you started with. And then take a rest. And then let's bring both of the knees into the chest. Hold onto the knees and then just circle around. So just releasing all that engagement just so it doesn't get stuck in the body. And then a few circles around the other way. And then we'll rest the feet back down onto the ground. Open the arms out wide to the sides. And then just let both of your knees drop down to one side. Now, if that feels ouchy at all, then put a bolster or a rolled up blanket under your outer thigh to lessen the rotation. Find room for your breath in whichever lung feels most spacious. And then we'll go to the other side. Letting the knees drop down, supporting the outer thigh. It will feel stronger if you have your knees sort of tucked in higher towards the chest, and it will be more gentle if you sort of slide the knees down towards the bottom of the mat. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's bring the knees to center and we'll hug both of the knees into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side. And anything else that feels good here that will help you to complete your asana practice. And in your own time now, bring yourself into Shavasana, finding a comfortable, relaxing pose, either resting on your back, your side, or your front. Taking all your extra layers and blankets and cushions, whatever's going to help you to feel supported. Shavasana. Letting go. When I first started doing yoga and I was being told to let go all the time, I had no idea what I was supposed to let go of. It took a long time to learn. And this letting go can start with the body and it can filter down to all aspects of being. And through the practice of yoga and meditation, if they're separate things, I mean, we're ultimately being asked to let go of everything. Whoever we think we are, whatever we think we have. And all of that holding on tends to get stored in the body as tension. So let's begin here, just letting the weight of the body drop down into earth. Allowing the ground to have a little bit more of you through this giving up of effort, bringing a little bit more skin in contact with a bit more ground. Making the back of the head heavy. The backs of the shoulders broad and also heavy. The weight of the arms dropping into the ground and the hands and the wrists soft. Softly breathe into the spaces in between your ribs. The breath very gentle. Bringing this message of movement and flow. But within that, a certain stillness. So the attention is steady, unwavering. We'll see if the back of the waist can soften back a little bit now towards the ground. And just checking in with the abdomen. This is one of the prime places that we hold on for dear life. Notice if you are armoring yourself by tightening the belly, softening into the solar plexus, sides of the belly, lower belly, and bringing that gentle ebb and flow of the breath all the way down into the belly. So it's very gently rocked, as if by the ocean swell, these waves of the breath. Allow the pelvic floor to be broad, the legs now falling away from the body. The hip joint begins to feel loose. Ankles and feet are soft. Soften into the inner body. And then take a long inhale through the nose. And just exhale, sigh the breath out. Every sigh just carries away a little bit more tension from within the body. Take a long inhale through the nose. And then sighing the breath out. And so taking as many sighs as you need to. When you feel as though you've got all of your sighs out, just returning to that gentle, easy breath. And just keep returning to your breath. Although the thoughts will be persistent, they'll want your attention. Notice all the stories you brought with you. The fabric of which your daily life is woven. Just see if, even if it's just for a second, you can let go of all of those stories. My shopping, my planning, my mortgage, my car, my family dramas. Just turning instead towards the breath. uncluttered by all that mental chatter. Just stories. There'll be different stories tomorrow. Just keep returning to your breath. And taking a few conscious breaths. How is it now? When you feel ready to, just very gently moving fingers, maybe wiggling your toes, having a little stretch. When you are ready to, just rolling over onto one side. Take a little pause there and come all the way up to seated. Let's close with one Om, 3 Shantis. So we'll take an inhale for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.